Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Fame with Tiffany Renee. Freedom of artistic means of expression. If you have never been to my page before or my channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So glad that you are here. This is a safe space, safe community, lovely community where we discuss all things metaphysical, metaphysics, quantum physics, where we talk about all the universal laws, law of attraction, law of assumption, law of cause and effect, and all those other delicious universal laws that govern the planet. And when we just talk about mindfulness, spirituality, and just better ways to help us get our life, okay? Feel free to like, share, subscribe. You can also donate to the channel if you want to. The Cash App will be in the description. So let's jump into this video. Okay, I have something to do in a little while. So I'm going to try to talk quickly because I have about 20 or 25 minutes before I have to go. But I wanted to give you some red hat action. Okay, shout out to Miss Williams, where I get my hats from. Okay. All right. So I don't really know what to call this video. I'll come up with something. But I just want to kind of open a dialogue, really, because I don't really know where to go with this. But it's something that happened to me last night, and it was just such a weird experience for me that I'm like, okay, I feel like maybe this happened to me for a reason, and I'm going to talk to the YouTube fam, and maybe we can have just an honest, loving dialogue about it, and maybe y'all can help me, okay? Just help me. But before I jump into the details, I need to shout out a couple of my amazing new subscribers, okay? First one is Kirsty from Norway. Oh my gosh, thank you, girl. You've been so amazing. She has been like binge watching all of my videos. And she has been leaving so many amazing comments. I love you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And all the way from Norway, bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And one of my newest subscribers, Ben, and he has a channel as well, called Manifesting the Good Life. Go check out his channel. It's awesome. Lots of amazing positive content. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you for your comments on my videos, and thank you for your emails. I really appreciate you. Appreciate all of your support. Thank you to every single one of you who comment on my videos. I will continue to give shout outs to different subscribers, if you don't mind me saying your names, of course. And thank you all. I appreciate every single one of you. Bless you all. Thank you. So now back to this topic. Something happened to me, and I think, help me. Okay, so last night there was an event, and I won't give too many details away, like, but if you were there, and I'm describing what happened, then if you know, you know. If you were in Indiana, or if you visited and you know, okay. But here's the basics. Here's the setup. I was at an event last night, and it was there was going to be some performances, and in the meantime the MC slash promoter person came out and was just breaking the ice, just talking to the crowd while we were waiting for the performers to come out on stage, and asking questions like, oh, how many couples are in the house, like how many people are this age in the house, how many people are over the age of such and such, give yourself a round of applause, blah blah, that type of stuff, right? And so he asked how many single ladies are in the house. And I raised my hand because I am single, right? And then it was like, how many single ladies are in the house? And I raised both my hands up again. And my friends were behind me. And he said, but he finished the sentence and said, and are looking for a man. And then I put both my hands down really fast, right? And so I didn't think he could see me. Kind of like I was standing kind of like in front of the stage, but not in front of the stage. Like there was a big gap, like where other people got to stand, and then there was a gap there, and then there was me like leaning up against something. But I guess he could see me past the other section and looked right at me. So I guess he saw me and he saw me put my hands down and he said, "Oh, so you ain't looking for a man?" And I was like, "No, but I'm open." I'm like, "But I'm open." And he's all the way on the stage. And I said, "I'm open though." And he said, "Oh, but you're open." I said, "I'm open." And I thought it was just going to end there. But he said, "Okay, well, since you open, like, okay, how about you come up on stage and we're gonna find you a man tonight, right?" And I just thought that was like hilarious. So I went along with the joke, like, okay, you know what? Fine. And the whole time he's doing just his little banter or whatever, whatever. I get it. I could play, some of the stereotypical, maybe borderline sexist banter. Okay, whatever. I'm cool. It's whatever. So I'm going up and I go up on stage. They bring me up on stage and I'm like, I know this is all in good fun. I'm telling them, one of the guys, security, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's all in good fun." So I'm playing along. Get up on stage. He asked me the questions. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going back and forth. He's like, "Now come on now. The usual, right?" And then he gets to like where a section where there's some like the part there were some guys or whatever out in the crowd, and he asked me, "So how many," what he says, like, "What are you looking for in a guy?" And I just give a generic answer, just someone who's kind, gentle, with a good heart. And any kind, gentle men out there with a good heart. And then a couple of guys like are raising their hands, like the single guys or whatever. And he's like, "We got this section over here. We got this guy, this guy, this guy." And it was like 5 different guys. And then he tells me to pick one. So I picked the guy who like deliberately is like putting his head down, trying not to be seen. You know what I mean? So I picked him, right? And he was a good sport. He came up, right? And he was really nice. And he played along like beautifully. And even we were cool. And then after like they had us sitting up on stage for when the performers came out, you know what I mean? And then after the fact, we exchanged numbers and we checked on each other. "Hey, did you get home? Did you get home?" Like he's really cool. Like he was really cool. And so he comes up on stage and he talks to him and whatever, asking him the same crazy questions, stereotypical questions, blah blah. And then he asked him if he was single. He was like, "Yeah, I'm single." Then he asked me, "Now, are you single? Like, are you single? I'm like emphasizing the single. And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm single, like completely single." And I said, "Actually, I've been single for 10 years. After I said that, after I said the part I've been single for 10 years, everyone in the audience, like everyone who was in the event hall, I could hear them like say, "Oh, like, oh man," like, and I felt the energy of judgment hit me, right? I'm not kidding. Even my friends were out there too or whatever. And I was just like, "Wait a minute, what is this sound?" And I was just like, obviously, okay, And I'm on stage thinking it's not a big deal. Well, then, the guy, he's just like, "Damn, okay." Like, "Damn, 10 years?" And he's like, "Okay, wait, okay." He's like, "So why," in the microphone, he's like, "So why have you been single for 10 years? So I'm glad he asked the follow-up question. So my answer, I just gave my honest answer. I guess maybe in hindsight, I could have given a politically correct answer and just said something sassy like, "Because I'm living my best life," or whatever. Whatever. But I didn't even think to. Like, immediately, just an honest answer came to my head on the spot. And I just said, just working on myself, working through issues and, trauma and just self-care, really just self-care. And that was my answer. And he was just like, "Okay." But the crowd, like, I still felt this energy of disappointment then from the crowd, almost like they were not happy with that answer. Almost like if I had given a different answer, there would have been some sort of redemption. Like, it would have been acceptable. Like, "Oh, okay, so because this happened," either almost as if I would have given a tragic answer, like, let's say, oh, if I said, "Well, I was in a relationship or I was married, but my significant other, let's say, was in the military and was overseas and maybe got killed in active duty, and he was the love of my life, and so I just decided I just haven't been in a rush to date anybody, but I'm open now." Then I feel like people will be like, "Oh, okay, cool, okay, well, you know what I mean?" Or if I said, "Oh, my spouse was," or my significant other maybe got sick, had an illness, and maybe passed away, or maybe was in an accident, and passed away or something, then I feel like I would have got okay, like there would have been some sort of like redemption type of energy, or some understanding type energy, or it would have been an answer that they would have felt would have been like, okay, this is acceptable. We can accept now why she's been single for 10 years. But because I said to work on myself and give myself self-care, I got an energy of that's unacceptable. That's not an acceptable answer for you to be single for 10 years. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I literally got that vibe. Like it was very clear. It was like they said it without even moving their lips. Do you see what I'm saying? He was like, okay. Anyway, and we moved on. And then, he was just like, well, we're going to put y'all together. So and he's like, everyone else kind of got back into the whatever. But, and then, we watched the show, and we, like I said, and then it was over and everything. And, whatever. He gave us a high five at the end after the performers went off stage, because everyone had a good time, and then we were leaving. But when I went back down there and like had to meander through the crowd, I could still feel the energy of everyone who was like looking at me. One lady, she did stop and speak to me, and she said, oh my God, I feel like I know you, blah, blah. And I was like, well, thank you, I appreciate it. And but I could feel some other people kind of like giving me a look, you know what I mean, like, damn girl, what, you know what I mean. It was so weird. And so I made it to my friend, and some of the other ones have already left, but one of them was still there, and I was like, hey, and we were just kind of recapping and whatnot. She was asking me about the guy, whatever, and like, oh yeah, he's really cool, whatever. So, I said, something like, where's everybody else? And they had left. And then after maybe 20 or 30 more minutes, we left. So when we were leaving, we were walking through the parking lot to get to her car. I said, was I being judged? Like, was I being judged for being single for 10 years? And she said, I mean, didn't you hear it? Like, didn't you hear people's responses? I said, yeah, but so were they judging me? Because, you were down there. And she said, I remember when he asked you, I was thinking, Lord, please don't let her say how long she's been single. When he asked her, please don't let her say how long she's been single. And I said, well, why not? And she said, then you said it. And I was like, oh no. And then, because she said, and you heard everybody say, I said, I did, but I didn't know it was that big of a deal. Like, I didn't know that people were going to react that way. So what was I being judged? And I said, she said, well, a little bit, because that's not normal. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's normal. It according to who? There are people who stay in toxic relationships and toxic marriages and toxic situationships or entanglements, like that's the new term, for a decade and longer. Relationships that don't serve them, that cause them detriment and mental instability and emotional instability and just mental and emotional exhaustion and all that type of stuff for 10 years. But because I chose not to do that, and I just chose to just kind of keep myself to myself. You know what I mean? It was really weird. So before we were on our way out, when we were coming down the stairs heading to the parking lot, there were two women who spoke to us, and one woman said to me flat out, girl, you need to break that cycle. Like 1 year, okay, but you need to break that cycle. That's what she said to me. And then her friend who was behind her said, girl, you don't have to do nothing. Okay? You don't have to justify being single to nobody. And I said it started off as only being a year, but the longer I kept working on myself, and I realized that I was okay being single, and I started to really enjoy my own company, and I started traveling, going to concerts, and I just started enjoying being by myself even more. So I didn't care. I just had no interest in dating anybody. I had no interest in looking for a relationship. It just suddenly became 10 years. It wasn't intentional. And then that's when her friend was like, you don't have to justify you being single to nobody. You doing you live your life the best way that you want to live it. There's nothing wrong with you being single for that long. Like, who don't let nobody make you feel like you need to be in a relationship. And I could appreciate that, because it was like, okay, are you like one of the only people who are on my team here? So anyway, when we're back in the parking lot, me and my friend, and she was, telling me, about how people reacted, whatever. And so we get in the car, and we're heading back. She was dropping me off, and I really wanted to understand. I'm like, why did people react that way? Like, why was it the response that way? And she said, I'm going to explain something to you. In the dating community, when someone says that they've been single for a long period of time, that is a red flag. That indicates that something is wrong with you. It implies you got trauma, you got issues, you got baggage. And so people will stay away from you. That's what that implies. It implies that you got mess, that almost like you're not quite dateable type of situation, you know what I mean? And so that's just a big red flag to like leave you alone. She said women and men, if you're single for like 8, 9, 10 years or 12 years, whatever, that's usually the conclusion that I guess society comes to, right? And I said, that is so unfair, because you can be single for a multitude of reasons for that long. It doesn't have to automatically mean like something negative. Like, it doesn't automatically have to be a bad thing. Why is it automatically a bad thing? And she said, I agree. It most assuredly doesn't have to be a bad thing at all. I'm just explaining to you what that translates to in the dating game. She doesn't agree with it. She thinks it's ridiculous, just like I do. But she was just saying this is what it means. And that's why they responded that way. You know what I mean? And these were people who were, 90% of the people in the room were of my community. You know what I mean? And so it did sting a little bit to know that this is like, wow, like, really? Because I know judgments were made. Certain perceptions were made. Preconceived notions were made. Thank God that he asked the follow-up question. But even though he asked the follow-up question, my answer was not even good enough. It's like self-care and working on myself and my inner issues and making sure that I'm good, that was not a valid enough answer for wanting to be single for 10 years. If that's not a good enough answer, if that's not a good enough reason to want to be single and be in solitude, to heal yourself, to know yourself, to get in touch with yourself, to practice your own self-care and your own healing, if that is not a good enough answer to want to be single until you feel like you're whole enough to invite another person into your personal space, then I don't know what is. I don't know what is, from my perspective. This is my own personal opinion here, because I don't understand why that was viewed as such a bad thing. I don't understand why I was booed. Like, do you see what I'm saying? I don't understand. Because it was embarrassing. And I felt the negative energy. I felt the judging energy. I still kind of feel the residue of it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and it doesn't feel good. It didn't. Now, I'm gonna have to like purge that or whatever. And I felt like I need to make a YouTube video about this to help me process, because I think I just need to process it, because I didn't expect that. And it's like, why did they not want me to be honest? Is that the problem? So should I have just said, living my best life, or because I can, because I don't need no man, or because should I have just said something like that? Would that have been would that have even been received? Or would would the thought process still be okay, but you can live your best life with a man though, or you could, like, would the response still be the same? Like, I guess it doesn't matter whatever the follow-up answer was. It was the initial reaction to just to the fact that I said, actually, I've been single for 10 years, because, he just was like, are you single? Like, why are you single? And I'm like, yes. And so to prove how single I was, I mentioned that I've actually been single for 10 years. I'm not ashamed of being single for 10 years. And I didn't realize that that was something that I should be ashamed of, that I should be ashamed of. I didn't realize that the longer you're single equates to society that you're undateable, or that something is wrong with you, or that it's like a caution red flag, that, oh, the longer you are single is the further you need to be away from that person. Like, I didn't know that that's what that meant in the dating game. Like, now this is just according to the information that I got last night. Okay. Help me out, y'all, because I'm trying to process it. This makes sense to me. I mean, bless. Maybe it's just perception. Maybe it's just perspective. Maybe it's just that simple of an answer. It's perspective. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just how people perceive relationships. Maybe that's just the value that certain individuals place on other individuals, and just place on relationships. I don't talk about SPs, as you noticed on my channel. Like, I don't have any videos where I talk about an SP when it comes to myself at all. I don't have any relationship videos, like none. The only relationship videos I think I have the relationship and entitlement video. Like, I use relationships as examples a lot when it comes to manifestation, or when it comes to self re-examination and stuff like that. But I personally don't have any SP videos. I don't talk about relationships because I'm not in one, and I haven't been in one for a decade. Like, the one video I actually have a video on my channel that says things that I've learned being single for a decade, I think is the name of the video. Like, because I don't date, and I haven't dated anyone in 10 years. So, and again, I'm open. It's just not a priority. Like, I don't prioritize dating anybody. And it's just because I haven't. I don't practice manifesting anybody into my life. I'm just neutral. I'm open. I'm open to receiving love. And if it shows up, it shows up. I'm open. Universe, I'm open. The universe knows that I'm open. So if I run into somebody at the gas station or at the grocery store and we have a vibrational connection, great. Let's talk. You know what I mean? But I'm not going out of my way to try and pick up somebody. I'm not going out of my way to try to impress nobody. I'm not going out of my way to try to get nobody's attention, to get nobody to notice me. If I go out and get dressed, I'm not going out and getting dressed to get noticed by a guy. Like, I'm not doing that. If I think somebody's cute, I'm just going to tell you, hey, you're really handsome. Bye. And I'm not telling you because I'm trying to pick you up. I'm just giving you a compliment. Like, I don't even know how to flirt. Like, I don't do. And my friends tease me about that all the time. Like, girl, you can't just tell guys that they're cute. You have to flirt with them. You got to bat the eyelashes. I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. If I'm going to tell you you're cute, I'm just going to say, you are so handsome. Okay, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so hilarious to me. Like, I can't. But anyway, I'm done with this video. Feel free to give your girl some tips. Okay, because clearly dating in this 21st, going into the 22nd century, I ain't got it yet. So help your girl out and send me some comments. Let me know how you feel. Is it okay for me to be single for 10 years? Is it okay? Can I still live my best life? YouTube family. Thank you all so much. Love you. Thank you for your support. And, I'm going to just keep doing me. And when the right person shows up, I'll know. When I'm in vibrational alignment, it's just going to show up. It's going to be so natural. I truly believe that. So, because I'm not going to force anything, it's just going to be natural. So, anywho, to everyone out there who is in love and looking for love, love is going to find you. And I'm blessed your love. Yes, come on with the love. Come on with your SP. You know how to manifest your SP. Take them off the pedestal, like Roxy Talks always says. You know what I mean? Learn about excess potential. Go to Brian Scott's page and type in excess potential Brian Scott. Watch his video on excess potential. That will help you get your SP as well. Like, you know how to do this because you're incredible manifestors and magicians. So you can get your SP. I'm just not ready to do all that. And I'm okay with that. So thank you all. Sorry, my allergies. But you all take care. Be blessed. I hope this video made sense. It was all over the place. But take care. Love you all.